How was the weekend off?
It's great.
I mean, you guys, did you do anything for Valentine's Day with the kids or anything like that?
Yeah, we had some presents and stuff at home.
Did the guys get the day off or anything? Or
Yeah, they had. No, they had Thursday after the travel day, and then we also had Sunday off.
You guys are in a unique spot where there is, good or bad, there's one team that is an extreme outlier in this conference that is Air Force, and I'm curious how you prepare for a team that you beat as soundly as you beat them at their place.
Just prepare the same way we do for every game.
You see anything different with them, with their interim coach?
Yeah, they're doing some things differently. A little less zone defense, a couple different actions. They have another front court player who I think is playing pretty well for them. That wasn't. I don't know if he was hurt or just wasn't playing. So yeah, there's certainly some differences.
You guys are in a spot now with 3 weeks to go where you're on the bubble, you're jockeying for position in tournament seeding, all that kind of stuff. And I know the prepare for every game mantra is still at the forefront. I am curious though if at any point you begin to talk to them about the importance of every game at this point means whether or not you guys are playing in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone understands where we are. That's why we try to take the same approach, right? And like I always say, the same stuff. But I think this is a stretch where it really is important because, like, it's not even just one game. Like, we want to be like possession focused. We want to focus on every possession and then move on to the next and try to like live in each moment and try to win each sort of rep and possession. And I think this is an important phase stretch of the season where if we can kind of improve at that, kind of really rely on our ability to do that, like that's where you have to be into the postseason when the stakes get the highest. Like as the stakes get bigger, I think it's important for your focus to narrow on what you need to do. And so we want to start that process now. We don't want to show up in March and be like, okay, now let's focus on each possession. Like if we can understand what's needed in the future, like obviously that's just the best way to play anyway. But if we can really lean into that now, we get reps where the stakes are going to go up each game as we go into the postseason, et cetera, it just continues to build. And so if we can do a good job of that now, we're going to be better for it in 6 weeks or that's too long, but like whenever the postseason starts.
6 weeks would be nice. I think that lines up with a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And Coach, what is motivation going to be like getting these guys fired up for a team that you beat by 42 points?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this stage of the season, like if you're not motivated to play, then like that should be intrinsic. Like they shouldn't need anything from me for that. Like you have to be excited to play. Like the stakes are going up here at the end of the season, and I think we have a group that has the maturity to understand that.
And as far as getting back home and ready to start that new streak?
Yeah, we want to get back on the right side of things here for sure.
So that bucket by Jake Hall late in the game, high level of skill execution. I mean, like talk about like your, what was going through your mind when you saw that last possession.
Yeah, so we just want to get the ball in Jake's hands, and then we kind of move the spacing a little bit to get him kind of the maximum space on one side of the floor. Felt good about his matchup. So, just having the ball in the right person's hands at the end of the game, and he made a big shot.
And with regard to that shot, it's very hard to defend when it's executed as perfectly as he does, right? I mean, with regard to the separation, the fadeaway, and of course the perfect release, all that came together.
Yeah, he did a nice job of being physical. Got his shoulder into more to create some space, and it's a shot he's pretty comfortable with, and he's really grown as the season's gone in terms of some of the stuff he's doing off the dribble. You can see his development there, and Jake's a person we trust with the ball in his hands, and it's not just what he's doing on the court. Like he works every day at a really high level.
A lot has been made since the GCU game about you switching to a zone the last 12-ish minutes. Does that mean we see a little bit more of it, maybe to experiment with that moving forward?
Yeah, if the situation calls for it, we would certainly consider it. I mean, do anything we think will help us, so it's more just trying to find solutions. Yeah.
Were you happy with the way it worked out? Because obviously it seemed to work. Just optically, it seemed to be successful. But were you surprised it worked as well as it did?
Yeah, no, I mean, we have confidence in our guys, so like we expect them to be successful. I think I was probably more surprised that we were having so much trouble, like just keeping them out of the paint in our base defense. So, and then I'm sure they were a little unprepared for that. We haven't played any zone possession since middle of November, so it can't be something that they were prepared for, because we weren't even planning to do it. So,
Right.
yeah.
No disrespect to Air Force, but that just seems like tomorrow night's game is an opportunity to maybe work on some lineups or maybe some things that you didn't want to necessarily, maybe couldn't do against a team like Grand Canyon or Utah State. But is tomorrow night kind of an opportunity to maybe try some things out that you want, maybe could use them moving forward?
Our focus is just playing good basketball. We approach it all the same way, and we'll see. We'll kind of see how the game goes, and they're doing some different things with their lineups than they were before. They're playing a little differently. There's potential for us to do different things that maybe give us a chance to have success against them specifically, but I don't know if experimentation is the right word.
And then I want to ask you about Luke. I think the best way to describe him is an enigma, because he could score 30 points one game and then 0 the next. But when you walk away from it, you think he was equally productive in both games. Have you ever had a player like him, and how would you best describe him?
I would describe Luke as a winner. I think that, I can't remember when it was, but there was a time in January where I told him after one of the games where I said I felt like our group was kind of taking on his personality a little bit with the competitiveness and just kind of the focus on winning and the unselfishness that he plays with. It's hard to quantify the impact that Luke has on the court in the locker room, just because of this. There's a lot of factors in today's college basketball landscape, and so if you can find guys like Luke that are solely focused on team success and winning, it does a lot for your program.
Coach, you've got a chance to see your team throughout the season, going to postseason. What would you feel like is the biggest strength of this team this year? Every team's different, I understand that.
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I think, I don't know that there's just one thing. I think maybe that says a little bit about the versatility of our group. I think we have we can win different ways. That's where you want to be. I think we can, we can score some points and win a game. We can win with our defense. I think we have a lot of different guys who could have lead us in scoring on a different night. So maybe just the versatility of our group.
And kind of along those lines, Coach, we're this far down the road, and then you knew what you had at the beginning of the year, regardless of anybody else. But did your guys, have they exceeded your expectations, or where are they at as far as that goes?
I think we're in a good position. We're where we want to be, but we also haven't done anything. We haven't accomplished anything. We've played some good basketball. We've had some nights that weren't great. I think we're at a stage where we kind of know what the good version looks like. And we just want to make sure we try to put that on the floor as much as possible. We got a lot of basketball left. We got 6 more games in conference, so it's a significant number. We got a lot to play for. That's where you want to be right now, middle of February going into March. You want to be playing meaningful games. We are. And so, it's our responsibility to put good basketball on the floor as the stakes get higher in those situations.
So I saw that Coach X shared like a flyer. It was like a team bus going to Excalibur in Vegas, like a little bit less than a month for that Vegas tournament. What's your pitch to Lobo Nation to go make that trip over to Vegas? Like any recommendations for them about like playing in Hollywood or something like that?
I mean, I hope everybody comes, but I'd like to see him tomorrow night. I'd like to see him here against San Diego State. I'd like to see him. Like we have a lot of things before Vegas, so hopefully they're here tomorrow night, and we'll get to Vegas when that time comes.
You're talking about Jake's continued growth. One thing that he's obviously a great shooter, and you've seen that for years before he even got here. But one thing he's been doing a lot more of is the quick release. I mean, he's catching it high and releasing without bringing it down at all. Is that something you guys have sort of identified as not that he had a slow release, but he's catching high and releasing like that? Is that something he's been working on specifically, or you guys have worked on him or worked with him on specifically?
He started doing that in high school. That like no dip three on the catch and shoot. I mean, he started working on that in high school. We've had some guys that we really worked on that with. Like he practices it for sure, but some of the best shooters we've been around, we've tried to work on that kind of no dip action, like to try to get it off quick. He's used that a few times in different games, but that's something he was doing, in back. I mean, I remember watching him do it in high school.
He seems, last few games, it seems like he's done it, I think, once a game or two of the last 3 games. I've seen at least a corner 3 where he's done that, and I'm curious if that's something that the point guards are talking about or identify or just know to maybe even throw it a little bit higher. They don't have to necessarily get it here so he brings it up. They can throw it kind of at his head, and he can catch at his head and release. Is that something that you talk with the point guards or the other guards with?
No, we're not talking to them about like trying to put it high or anything. Like I think if we just want to, on time, on target is what we talk about, and if it is a little high, he can deal with it. But no, that's not something we're working with the passers on at all.
And is he still surprising you in any way? Not surprise isn't the right word, but is he still doing things that you haven't seen him do before?
I mean, I think the area, like everybody, we're going to talk about his shooting and his points, but like the area where he's really grown and has exceeded expectations is the defensive side of the floor. Like he guards the ball. He's in the right spot a lot. He pursues on the glass. He plays with more physicality. Like he's grown defensively as much as anything. The offensive stuff is honestly like not that big a surprise. Like we expected him to be. Like I'm not saying this is exactly what we expected, but like we thought he would be a very impactful offensive player. And I think specifically for Jake, like the defensive growth is probably the area that I'm the proudest of with him, and I think has led to he's able to be out there in all the matchups. Like we're not worried about this person or that person and our ability. I mean, some of that's our versatility around him too, but he's doing a great job defensively, both on the ball, off the ball, execution. Like there's still some things he can get better at, but that's the area that I think has been exceeded our expectations the most.
After watching film, was Dayton's aggression, did he handle his aggressive attacking the rim the right way? He had some turnovers. Not all of them were while attacking, but I'm just curious what your assessment of Dayton's play was last Wednesday.
Yeah, I thought Dayton played well. We want everybody to turn the ball over less. Like, we had some unforced ones was, stepping out of bounds in the corner twice. One was him. I think one was Chol early. So those are ones where, those are unforced. Like we can't have unforced turnovers, but we want Dayton to be aggressive all the time. We understand that there is a cost benefit to that, right? Like Dayton is going to have more turnovers than other players, right? The ball's in his hands a ton. He's aggressive. He's in traffic. We feel like the benefits outweigh some of those negative possessions with his rim pressure. I thought his decision-making was really good. I thought his off-ball defensive activity was really good. I thought Dayton played well, and we need him to continue to be aggressive. We want him to be himself as he continues to grow in what we're doing, but we need a good version of Dayton Albury to be the best version of our team.
And then 3 weeks ago, I kind of want to talk about a couple questions on sort of off-season stuff. it is, the portal got moved back, but I don't know how much that changes guys in your players' ears. Jake is having a year that people are going to be interested in at other schools. How do you approach this time of year with that? There's some retention issues that you guys have to face and try and keep your guys, but there are other people that are getting in either his ears, his people's ears, his family's ears. How do you approach that? Because you guys have some players that have probably exceeded a lot of people's expectations.
Yeah, we just approach that all internally.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is definitely a big time of year for us. Really important as far as postseason, getting there, and how we finish this season right now impacts a lot of what we'll get to do in March.
The bye comes at a unique time. He comes off a big win, but probably also kind of needed it physically for some of you guys and stuff like that. So, what was it like having a weekend off?
Definitely great to have. There's no off nights in this league, so very good to get some rest. We had some good practices in between as well, so really important for us, and kind of like you said, to head into this home stretch feeling re-energized and with a lot of focus.
I guess I'm curious. A game like Air Force is obviously a team you guys beat really soundly at their place. They're coming to town. How do you guys prepare for a game like Air Force at this point of the season?
I would say we prepare for this game the same as we do any other game. It's an opportunity for us to come out in front of our home crowd and play at the pit again. Obviously, we got to get back to our winning ways here at home. So really just prepare for this game the same as any other. Come out ready to go with a lot of focus.
Kind of along the same lines, how do you stay, is there going to be any sluggishness or anything like that just because of you guys beat them so bad, you just humiliate them on their home floor, and they're coming and it's just like, oh yeah, these guys, or do you always stay up?
Yeah, I mean, every game is you got to get up for. We did what we needed to do last time we played them, but the score is 0-0 again. So we got to come out with a great sense of focus and energy, and just really take a lot of focus in doing what we need to do.
And coming back home and you want to establish like, hey, this is our house again. Have you guys talked about that, and how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, we definitely have talked about it. We have a great fan base here, so we want to win at home every time we can, and really do our best to make sure that we hold up our end of the deal and make the pit what it is, a super hard place to play. So we've talked about that within our locker room and stuff like that. So we want to come out with a lot of focus and kind of get back to that.
JT, Coach talked after the last game about zone defense, which apparently you guys hadn't played since November. Is that like a thing now that maybe you experiment a little bit more with it, you think?
Yeah, I think you'll see maybe a little bit more of it. Like Coach said, we haven't played a whole lot of it since really early in the season, but coming down this home stretch, if something's working for us, that's probably what we'll go with.
Do you ever try to lobby for you and Tom to be on the floor at the same time, get some minutes, maybe crap a little post? Do you do that?
I mean, I think it could be good, but I'm not necessarily in charge of that decision. So, I think it could be good, but we'll kind of go with what the coaches think, and try and win any way we can.
Have there been situations in practice where the two of you have been on the floor at the same time?
Yeah, we've experimented with it a little bit in practice, but I'm not sure how much we'll see in the game. But I wouldn't put it off the table. So
a little bit of time off this week. What were you guys zeroing in on?
We took a lot of time this week just to focus on us and get back to being sharp in what we need to do, regardless of opponent. So, and then also just making sure that we take the bye week and make use of it with recovery and stuff like that. So, just making sure that we're feeling as good as we can coming off the bye week, and then coming out ready to go tomorrow night.
And I know Air Force isn't exactly having the best season right now, but they got a couple of freshmen that can score. How are you guys attacking them? How are you looking at them offensively?
Their offense?
Yeah. How are you preparing for their offense?
Okay, yeah. Kind of like I said earlier, we'll prepare the same way for every game. Obviously, we'll look at the scouting report and all that stuff. So we'll do what we need to do in that aspect, and then just be prepared. We watch a lot of film, and you know, we'll show up prepared.
JT, what's the mentality like as far as the team? I mean, outside of the coaches, I mean, you guys, whenever we ask the coach a question, he says the players know that, how to finish strong, where you're positioning, and how difficult it is for mid-majors now to go to the big dance. I mean, what's the mentality of the team?
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of urgency in our locker room, and we all know that this home stretch is very important for our postseason and where we get to go for our postseason. So we still kind of control our own destiny in that aspect of we can still get to where we want to go, but we have to show up every night to make that happen.
For JT?
Oh, sorry.
Fresno State, how do you guys take into consideration when you, of course, have to go play on the road and deal with a different fan base, a rowdier student section, anything like that?
I would say, I mean, the road environments in this league are fun, but kind of prepare for every game the same way and show up and do what we need to do. The student sections and the opposing crowds are fun to play against, but the game happens inside of 94 feet, so just kind of bring focus to that.